Chapter 2050. When Arkith heard this, he fell into deep thought again. One had to know that he was the one who had promoted Dai Wei to AAD. He was also the one who had recruited Dai Wei into the International Fashion Association and given him an important position. If Dai Wei was really as Gong Shangza had said, he would have to bear the blame. Arkith cautiously confirmed with Gong Shangza again. Mr. Gong, can you prove that the rainbow feather coat and Dai Wei's other designs were stolen from you? In the seats, Ning Shueluo's tense expression finally relaxed when she saw that things had taken a turn for the better. Somewhere in the front row, Ningxi tapped her forehead with her fair fingers and chuckled softly. "TSK, you won't shed a tear until you see the coffin," Ningxi murmured, and then quietly sent a text message with her mobile phone. Soon, a staff member in the hall hurried to Arkith's side and whispered something in his ear. Arkith frowned and remained silent for a long time. Finally he nodded. A moment later, as if they were waiting for Dai Wei's final struggle, the huge screen behind him suddenly displayed countless design drafts. Everyone raised their heads to look while discussing. Dai Wei also stared fixedly at the big screen, and an extremely ominous premonition gradually surfaced in his heart. A series of classic works from history appeared on the huge screen. To the right of Dai Wei's design drafts were similar designs, and the signatures on those drafts were Gong Shangza's name. The design drafts on the right looked the same as the one on the left, but upon closer inspection, there were many subtle differences. Those differences were like the finishing touch, instantly making everyone's eyes light up. How could the industry not see what this meant? Some of the designs that Dai Wei had taken away were probably semi-finished products. Now these semi-finished products had been perfected by Gong Shangza, the original designer. Things were far from over at this point. Following that, Dai Wei's designs from the past year or so appeared on the big screen. Although the style of these designs was similar, even those who didn't know the industry could tell that they were not as lively as the previous designs. Next to the design drafts were the same designs, but the signatures on those designs were all different names. Hey, what's going on? The same design drafts but different signatures. What's the meaning of this? Dai Wei's face was drained of blood when he saw the designs that were exactly the same, but had other people's names on them. His eyes were filled with panic. Before he could react, a video popped up. A man wearing a mask appeared on the screen. The man's timid voice echoed clearly in the hall. "A year ago, Dai Wei asked me to secretly help him find a large number of Chinese designers. All of them submitted their designs on a monthly basis, and he would pick the most suitable design that he was most satisfied with. He would pay them handsomely. Most of the designers who took on the job were poor because they didn't have any connections, so they couldn't ask for a job like this. These are the records of Dai Wei's remittances to me. All of his designs for the past year were bought from me. Shocking, heavenly, ugly and scandalous. Just like that, it was completely exposed before everyone's eyes. The chief designer of history was a thief, a liar who knew nothing about design and only knew how to steal other people's work." Chapter 2051. After a moment of dead silence, there was an uproar. Everyone looked at Dai Wei with anger, and the Chinese audience was furious. "Dai Wei, you motherfucker! Scum! Scum! You're a disgrace to our country! Liar, I'm going to burn all the history clothes in the closet. This is disgusting. I can't believe there's such a shameless person. You'd better stay abroad for the rest of your life. I'll beat you up every time I see you." Dai Wei's face turned as red as a pig's liver under the overwhelming criticism and curses. Arkitha's expression was also extremely ugly. He finally could not say anything. He announced on the spot that Dai Wei would be expelled from the Fashion Association and banned for life. After everything was torn apart, Arkitha's public announcement fell in the huge royal palace of Lorraine. Dai Wei suddenly rushed over like a hoodlum and started cursing. So what if I took his designs? If it wasn't for me, who knows where his designs would be? He's already exhausted. Apart from those things, he can't design anything else. He's just trying to step on me. If it wasn't for me, his designs would be a pile of trash. Waste paper. Worthless. He's a piece of trash. A piece of trash. Dai Wei's arrogance only made everyone despise and hate him even more. Meanwhile, Ning Xuelua felt like she was sitting on pins and needles. She looked at Dai Wei's behavior with an extremely gloomy expression. She wanted to throw him out personally. The scene finally quieted down when Dai Wei was dragged out by the security guards. Gong Shangzi lowered his eyebrows. I'm sorry that I ruined the show. Arkith looked a little embarrassed. He blamed himself. It's our fault that we almost let such a shameless person taint the fashion industry. This should be the association's responsibility. At that moment, Arkith suddenly recalled that a long time ago, he had received many reports from the same person in his mailbox, claiming that the chief designer of history, Dai Wei, had stolen his work. At that time, he chose to ignore it because the person could not provide any evidence. However, he did not expect that today, this matter would be exposed in such a way. At this moment, the vice president said, rushed to the stage to smooth things over. It's a disgrace to the fashion industry to let such a despicable liar sneak into the sacred fashion hall. The association will definitely give the most severe punishment to the thieves. At the same time, we will protect the rights and interests of all the talented designers who truly love fashion design. Thunderous applause instantly broke out in the hall. The vice president breathed a sigh of relief and took the opportunity to say, this time, Zhe Ling has also brought us her latest work. Let us look forward to what surprises this designer, who has once brought us unparalleled amazement, and allowed us to experience the magnificent cultural treasures of Hua Nation, will bring us. With the vice president's words, everything was ready on the T stage, and the exhibition began again. Everyone's eyes fell on the stage. The Chinese people who were watching the live broadcast held their breaths and stared at the screen nervously. Many people knew that Zhe Ling hadn't produced any new works for a long time, except for the period when she had produced many masterpieces at the beginning. Could it really be, as Dai Wei had said, that Gong Shangzi had already run out of ideas? Would Hua Guofeng fall like this? Chapter 2052. Below the stage, an industry insider analyzed in a low voice. Ever since Dai Wei's Spring Garden caused a wave of Hua Nation fashion trends, designers from major brands have been adding a little Hua Nation elements to their designs in recent years. There are countless Hua Nation brands that follow suit. All the elements that can be used have been used up. That's true. It's too difficult to innovate and come up with something new. However, now that it's proven that Dai Wei's previous designs were all from his own hands, Dai Wei's achievements have naturally returned to the original owner. As long as he performs normally this time, it'll be enough for him to have a place in the international fashion industry. At this time, the surrounding lights were all dimmed, and the crowd's discussions instantly stopped. Finally, on the runway, the first model slowly walked out from the backstage. She wore a navy blue long dress with a wide cape on her back. The warm orange and black colors created a majestic and heavy scene. That's Dun Wang. Someone immediately exclaimed. The colors and patterns on this dress came from the largest and richest ancient cultural treasure house in Cathay. It was also the world-famous center of Buddhist art, Dunhuang Mogeo Caves. Soon, the second set of clothes appeared in front of everyone. The main color of this set of clothes was gold, and there were two soaring dragons embroidered on the dress. As everyone knew, the dragon totem was the symbol of Cathay. Between the dragon patterns were embroidered colorful cloud patterns that implied auspiciousness. On the skirt that reached the ground, there were rolling waves like a gentle stream, as if the sound of surging waves was heard, implying prosperity for all ages. The third set used the more classic blue and white porcelain elements of Cathay. The pattern of the entire set of clothes perfectly replicated a blue and white porcelain vase from the Song dynasty, complemented by blue and white twining branches, dragons, cheilants, phoenixes, and magpies as accessories. The fourth set was a bright red long dress with cranes and plum blossoms embroidered on the dress. It instantly brought everyone into a vast paradise of Cathay. The fifth set, the sixth set, the seventh set, one set of clothes after another appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Each set represented the ancient and unique elements of Cathay. It was breathtaking. No one could have imagined that this seemingly gentle and harmless designer actually possessed such a shocking power within his body. It wasn't just one set, but 10 sets, and each set was enough to stun the world. Below the stage, famous buyers with keen intuition were already frantically searching for Zhe Ling's contact information. preparing to snap up Ziling's work for this season. Superstars from all over the world could not wait to put on these unique dresses. This is unbelievable. It's so beautiful. Every single set. Every set is unique. With this level of design, even one set would take several months. How did he manage to make 10 sets? The spiritual show was over, and the audience was full of praise. Faced with more and more gasps of surprise, Gong Shangza opened his mouth and said, "Indeed, almost all designers will encounter the predicament of running out of inspiration. But I've always felt that being a Chinese designer is a blessing, because in our 5,000 years of Chinese culture, there are endless inspirations and treasures to be excavated." The moment Gong Shangza's voice fell, the audience burst into thunderous applause. Far away in Cathay, people were so excited that their eyes were brimming with tears. In the live broadcast room, Gong Shangza and Ziling's names were everywhere. Chapter 2053. Ziling. 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 Gong Shangza said it too well. A designer like this should represent China on the international stage. A fake is a fake. Let's see what Dai Wei has to say now. Speaking of which blind boss cooperated with Dai Wei and invested in history back then? Countless people commented as soon as the topic was mentioned. Who else could it be? Ning Xuelua's fake daughter. To think that I almost turned from an anti-fan to a fan. Ziling's show was the last one. After the fashion show ended, the reporters at the scene swarmed forward to interview Gong Shangza, while most of the reporters went to stop Ning Xuelua. Ning Xuelua did not want to stay any longer. She was going to leave as soon as the show ended, but the reporters did not let her go. They surrounded her before she could get up. "Ms. Ning, the chief designer of history is a thief. What do you have to say about that? Dai Wei has been buying other designers' designs in secret for the past year. Don't you know anything about this? When you founded history with Dai Wei, didn't you know about his character? You're the CEO of history. Your company has such a scandal, and it has even affected the reputation of the entire country. Don't you have anything to explain to everyone?" Ning Xuelua wanted to strangle Dai Wei to death. She asked one question after another, each one more unpleasant than the previous one. This year's Lorraine Fashion Week was supposed to be a time for her to hold her head high. It was supposed to be the time for history to shine. The effect of the feather dress was so stunning. After the Fashion Week, history's scale would more than double, and the international market would be even wider. She was even ready to expand the number and scale of flagship stores abroad. By then, history would be the #1 clothing brand in China, and she would be the founder of the brand. But now it was ruined. Everything was ruined. Ning Xuelua's internal organs were in turmoil. She was so angry that she almost went crazy. She used all her self-control to hold herself back. After taking a deep breath, she said, "Setting up a Chinese-style clothing company has always been my idea. I've been preparing for this for a long time, and I've been looking for a suitable designer all this time. Back then, I chose to work with Dai Wei because I was attracted by his designs. Mr. Gong Shangza's designs were simply too beautiful and full of life. At first glance, I was certain that these designs would definitely become popular, and that they would definitely be able to make Chinese clothing be accepted by the world. What happened later proved that we had indeed succeeded. However, I had never expected that Dai Wei had stolen all of his designs from Mr. Gong. Dai Wei had provided me with proof that all of his designs were his originals. That was why I didn't know anything about it. I was just excited about his talent in designing, so I wholeheartedly wanted to help him achieve his dream. Of course, as the founder of history, I have to take responsibility for my poor judgment. Here, I sincerely apologize to all my peers, guests, fashion lovers, and all fashion lovers in China." As Ning Xuelua spoke, she bowed deeply at the camera. Then she said angrily, "History will not tolerate Dai Wei's terrible behavior. From this moment onwards, he is no longer the designer of history. Don't worry. Of course." Chapter 2054. At this point, Ning Xuelua's gaze suddenly turned towards Gong Shangza's direction. With a sincere gaze, she said, "History welcomes all designers who are truly talented and passionate. I personally love and admire Mr. Gong Shang's work. Now that the truth has come to light, you can even say that I was the one who founded history for Mr. Gong. Ning Xueluo's words were like an olive branch to Gong Shangze. The reporters were excited. Director Ning, are you saying that you intend to invite Mr. Gong Shangze to join history? Ning Xueluo nodded. History has always been dedicated to the Chinese style. The rarest part is that history is completely in Mr. Gong's style. Mr. Gong is also our core. If Mr. Gong is willing to join history, he will definitely be able to create more glorious achievements for the Chinese style. Ning Xueluo suddenly became excited. No matter what, history was still one of the top listed companies in the Chinese style. Zailing was just a small company. How could they be compared to history? As long as Gong Shangze had a brain, he would know what to do. As long as she could poach Gong Shangze, this scandal would become a legend. History would still be able to make a comeback, and even better than when Dai Wei was around. The reporters turned to Gong Shangze when they heard Ning Xueluo's words. Mr. Gong, what do you think of history's invitation? Now that Dai Wei has received the punishment he deserves, Director Gong, will you consider joining history? Mr. Gong Shangze. The reporters kept asking him questions, and Ning Xueluo's gaze was scorching hot. Gong Shangze had been putting up a front ever since he stepped onto the stage. Now that the truth was out and everything was settled, Zailing's show was a great success, and he finally lived up to Ning Shi's expectations. When he suddenly relaxed, all the energy he had been holding on disappeared. He felt his limbs go cold, and his head was buzzing. The whole world was spinning. What was Ning Xueluo talking about? What were the reporters talking about? He could hear them, but he had no idea what they were talking about. Just when Gong Shangze was about to reach his limit, a warm and strong force suddenly supported him from behind. That familiar, reassuring, and powerful aura suddenly came to his side. It's Ningxi. Seeing Ningxi suddenly stand up from her seat and stride over to Gong Shangze's side, all the reporters' gazes instantly shifted to this figure that would immediately attract everyone's attention no matter when she appeared. Everyone had been asking Gong Shangze if he was interested in joining history. Now that they saw Ningxi, they all looked at each other, not knowing why Ningxi had suddenly walked over. Ningxi stood by Gong Shangze's side. Her bright eyes glistened and slowly fell on Ning Xueluo. Ning Xueluo suddenly met Ningxi's gaze and her heart tightened. What does this slut want to do? Could it be that he wanted to add insult to injury? Under everyone's gaze, Ningxi lowered her eyes and chuckled softly. Then she looked up and said, CEO Ning, it's inappropriate for you to steal my woman in front of me, isn't it? At this moment, hearing Ningxi's voice, Gong Shangze's muddled brain finally woke up. His eyes brightened as he looked at the person beside him. Boss. Chapter 2055. What did that mean? Hearing Ningxi's casual words, all the surrounding reporters, including the people at the scene, suddenly exclaimed. Ning Xueluo's face instantly turned pale. What did Ningxi just say? Poach her. She seemed to have heard Gong Shangze call her boss. How was that possible? She must have heard wrong. Something must have gone wrong. Miss Ningxi, may I ask what you meant by your words just now? What do you mean by poaching your boss right in front of your face? Do you mean your Zailings? Just as the reporters crazily surrounded Ningxi and asked her questions, Gong Shangze's low and hoarse voice rang out in the noisy crowd. Miss Ningxi is my boss, the founder of Zailing. Following Gong Shangze's affirmative answer, everyone was stunned, and the scene was in an uproar. Holy shit! Ningxi is Zailing's boss. That's shocking. No wonder Ningxi never accepts endorsements. She started her own company. Qiao Weilan has always been in charge of Zailing, and Qiao Weilan works for Qin Shengyue. I thought Zailing's boss was Qin Shengyue. Ningxi not only poached Qin Shengyue's most capable subordinate, but also recruited a genius like Gong Shangze. Mr. Gong, are you saying that movie Queen Ning is your boss and the founder of Zailing? The reporter asked in disbelief. Gong Shangze nodded and answered. Back then, no one believed what I said. I complained to no one and begged penniless on the streets of Lorraine. It was the boss who discovered me and believed in me. He brought me back to the country and helped me set up Zailing. He has supported me all this time and has made it to this day. The reporter continued to ask excitedly, so that's it. How did you and Miss Ningxi meet? Gong Shangzi pursed his lips, and his expression froze as if he had recalled something beautiful. With a gentle expression, he said, at that time the boss bought a lot of History's clothes. When she passed by me, she probably saw me staring at her, so she gave me a sandwich. At that time, I found out that one of the designs was an unfinished draft of mine. There were many flaws in it, so I couldn't help but say it out loud. At that time, I was filled with anger and hatred. When I saw that my half-finished product had been stolen, I cursed the clothes for being ugly. Who would listen to a beggar's words, and such ugly words at that time? But at that time, the boss listened to my analysis from beginning to end, and also listened to my story. Gong Shangzi's eyes reddened as he recalled the events of the past. Everyone present was also attracted by the young man's memories. Gong Shangzi took a deep breath and continued. Back then, under that kind of blow, I was already in complete despair. I couldn't even design a single piece of art anymore. It was boss who appeared and gave me hope. On the plane back to China with my boss, who originally thought that I would never be able to design any more works, designed my first work after returning to China, Nirvana. It was also this work that won me the Golden Apex Award and gave me a brand new start. Hearing this, some people suddenly had a look of realization. Nirvana was actually designed this way. No wonder it's so shocking and explosive. Chapter 2056. Chu Guanyang nodded, and showed an expression of understanding. He had thought that there must be a story behind this set of clothes, but he didn't expect it to be more tragic than he had imagined. Then, at the beginning, our studio encountered many difficulties. From the registration to the location, the boss spent a lot of effort to hire a professional marketing director, and opened our first flagship store. The boss said that one day, she would help me clarify the truth in front of the world. She also said that in the face of true power, all tricks are useless. One day, when Zeiling is strong enough to have the right to speak, even if I don't have any evidence, people will believe me. All this while, these words have been supporting me. Speaking up to this point, Gong Shangzi's expression became slightly gloomy as he continued. Everything was going in a good direction, until something happened to the boss. Hearing this, everyone already knew that Gong Shangzi was probably talking about Ningxi's coma for a year. To me, the boss is not only my superior, my boss, but also my faith. Because of her, I regained my inspiration and confidence in design. The reason why I came back was not only for myself, but also to prove to the boss that she didn't choose the wrong person. I want to be her pride. However, in the year that the boss went missing, I suddenly lost my direction. I thought that I was abandoned again. The self-doubt and uneasiness, and the sudden loss of faith, made me unable to design another work, until the boss came back. Hearing this, everyone already understood what was going on. No wonder Gong Shangzi suddenly didn't design a work for more than a year. No wonder not long after Ningxi's comeback, Zeiling continuously released eye-catching new works. Returning to nature. Wasn't this the most realistic portrayal of Ningxi's comeback? So the source of inspiration for this series also came from Ningxi. Also, no wonder every time Ningxi wore Zeiling's clothes, it was so stunning and fitting. It even made people feel that those clothes were completely designed for Ningxi. How could it not fit? Ningxi was clearly Zeiling's muse of inspiration. Everyone who heard Gong Shangzi's words were incomparably moved, and they felt even more contempt for Dai Wei's shameless behavior. At the same time, everyone who was almost brainwashed by Ning Shueluo suddenly came back to their senses. This woman was clearly helping Dai Wei commit evil. Yet she could still distort the truth and shamelessly say that history was established for Gong Shangzi. It was clearly history that pushed Gong Shangzi into the abyss of despair, and almost destroyed such a talented designer. After listening to Gong Shangzi's story, all the viewers in the country started to crazily flood the screen. My brother, she is indeed mighty and domineering. You have a unique eye, and you're very accurate in judging people. This story is really too loving. When I heard Gong Shangzi's words just now, I cried. I'm so touched. Not only are they bosses and employees, but they are also the most compatible partners. While they were exclaiming over Ning Shi and Gong Shang's talent, they were also furious at Ning Xueluo's behavior. Oh my god. Ning Xueluo was too shameless. Just now you actually wanted to poach our brother Shi Xiaozi's. Damn it, Ning Xueluo robbed Ning Shi's parents and her boyfriend, and now Ning Xueluo's men robbed her of her design manuscript. Like master, like dog. Good night, the update is over. I'm sorry, I was too busy before. Now I'll announce the winners of the long review event. Beautiful Flower in the Fish Sea, Lumion 15, Kev, Tianya Brain Hole, Little Pure Sky, Missouri Joshi, White Dew Little Lucky Black Hay. Chapter 2057. Soon, all the gossip about the Lorraine Fashion Week spread back to China. The chief designer of history, David, was exposed to a shocking scandal and was banned by the International Fashion Association. Zailing put on a stunning show during the Fashion Week, and the domestic and international media were all scrambling to report on the show, which shocked the world, and the fashionistas were all full of praise. All of a sudden, Zailing became the new favorite in the international fashion industry, and the orders came in like snowflakes. As for history, because of the scandal that rocked the international fashion industry, the stock of the company fell the next day. Many well-known partners canceled their contracts with them. Ning Xueluo rushed back to China overnight and tried to use her connections to try to save history, but to little avail. At a film and television production base in Luoyang City, the filming of The Killer was finally over. Following the director's final pass command, all the crew members clapped and hugged each other excitedly, bidding each other farewell. Ning Shi was immersed in the excitement and sadness of parting when a voice that made her scalp numb sounded behind her. Hi dear Cece, you're finally done. Congratulations. Ahem, thank you, Mr. Orlando. Ning Shi wanted to hide, but it was too late. Orlando took a step forward and blocked her at the door. His peach blossom eyes were sparkling as he looked at him expectantly. Darling, are you free tonight? Ning Shi pinched her eyebrows. Ahem. I'm having dinner with everyone tonight. Orlando looked disappointed. Oh, that's a pity. What about tomorrow? Is tomorrow okay? Ning Shi said awkwardly, sorry, I have an appointment with Lillian tomorrow. What about the day after tomorrow? Orlando persisted. Ning Shi felt a headache coming on. Recently, there was news from the crew of the Thunderbolts that the movie would be released soon. Since she was in Luoyang City, Director Martin invited her for a few meetings, and it was inevitable that she would run into one of the main leads, Orlando. Orlando had been in contact with her ever since he accidentally shot her with a gun more than a year ago. But she had been unconscious for a whole year at that time, so she didn't know about it. It was only after she woke up that she checked her mailbox and found that he had sent her many apologetic emails. When they met again, Orlando treated her to a meal and apologized to her again. The truth about the fake gun being replaced with a real gun had long been revealed. It had nothing to do with Orlando, so Ning Shi naturally wouldn't care. Things should have ended here, but unfortunately, Orlando, this playboy, was pestering her since that day. He had been waiting for her at the hotel she was staying at every day. Now he had even come directly to the set. After all, during the promotional period for Thunderbolt, they would have to work together and meet frequently. Ning Shi did not want to be too harsh with her words, but Orlando was too thick-skinned. She had rejected him several times, but to no avail. At this moment, facing the eager eyes of the man who was called Little Goblin by all the girls, Ning Shi felt like breaking down. This guy was really not a normal torturous person. Just as Ning Shi was racking her brains to find an excuse to reject Orlando's invitation, she heard footsteps behind her. I've been looking for you for a long time. Why are you here alone? Jiang Mai had waist-length black hair like a waterfall. His eyes were like stars, and his lips were like cherry blossoms. He was wearing a black motorcycle suit, tight pants and marten boots, looking valiant and heroic. He crossed his arms over his chest and said impatiently, frowning at Ning Shi and Orlando beside her. Chapter 2058. Jiang Mai was over 1.8 meters tall. If she was in China, her height would be enough to make people feel intimidated at the sight of her. But in China, there were many ordinary women of this height. Many goddess-like supermodels in the entertainment circle were of this height, and those who walked the fairy tale route were all flat-chested. Jiang Mai's women's clothing didn't deliberately add anything in front of his chest. It was completely his original figure. He only slimmed down and lost fat, but the effect was unexpectedly good. The androgynous beauty was vividly reflected. At this moment, seeing Orlando blocking the door and Ningxi looking helpless, Jiang Mai frowned and looked at Orlando coldly. But he looked back at Ningxi and said, "The director is calling you." "Oh, I'll go right away. Senior Orlando, I have to go. Let's talk about it another day." Ningxi felt relieved and hurried to follow Jiang Mai. After walking a little farther, Jiang Mai warned Ningxi angrily, "Stay away from that guy. He's a notorious playboy in the entertainment circle." Hearing that, Ningxi's mouth twitched and she muttered, "I didn't expect that one day you would say that. After all, he used to be a member of the notorious playboys." "I'm talking to you. Did you hear me? This guy likes to mess with Chinese artists. He must be plotting something against you." Jiang Mai stared at her. Ningxi nodded quickly. I know. Anyway, I'll be back in a few days. I'll just hide for a few days." After saying that, Ningxi stared at Jiang Mai, clutched her chest, and said, "Baby, don't stare at me like that. You're too seductive." "Ning Xiaoxi, you motherfucker. I dare you to say that again." The golden-haired man who was teased by Ningxi was furious. "Oh my, you look even cuter when you're angry. Ning Xiaoxi, don't run away if you dare." Jiang Mai was furious. He was chasing her when he suddenly felt a burning gaze on him. But when he turned around he didn't see anyone, so he looked away suspiciously. After finishing the work of the crew, Ningxi packed up and went out. When she arrived at the parking lot, Orlando, whom she thought had left, was still there. He seemed to have been waiting for her for a long time. Ningxi's heart was about to collapse. "Well, Senior Orlando, the day after tomorrow. Cece." Before Ningxi could speak, Orlando suddenly grabbed Ningxi's hand, looking so excited as if he had gotten all the girls in the world. "Oh, what's wrong?" Ningxi was a little scared by Orlando's expression. "That black rose just now. Who is that black rose?" "Huh? Black rose? What the hell?" Ningxi was confused. "That's the one just now. Black, long hair, a black jacket and leather pants." Orlando gestured excitedly. "Ah. You mean he?" Was Orlando talking about Jiang Mai? "Yes, that's her. Her nose is very straight. Her skin is very good. Her eyes are very beautiful. And her lips are very suitable for kissing." Seeing that Orlando's words were getting more and more strange, Ningxi was suddenly speechless. Why did she feel that something was wrong? While she was muttering, she heard Orlando say excitedly, "Cece, I've fallen in love again. I've fallen in love with that black rose." Ningxi was speechless. What did she hear? Her ears were probably blind. Chapter 2059. This guy said that he had fallen in love with Jiang Mai. The moment Orlando's voice fell, Ningxi was stunned like a fool. And what the hell did he mean by falling in love again? There was actually someone who could say such words so openly. And it was even said in front of the girl he was chasing just a second ago. Where was his integrity? "Cece, she is your friend, right? Can you give me her contact information?" Orlando said with a bashful expression. "Can I? I'm sincere." "Yes. You're sincere. You're sincere to every girl." Ningxi was still immersed in the fact that Orlando had fallen in love with Jiang Mai. She was speechless for a long time. Orlando thought that Ningxi was worried about him, so he tried to persuade her with all kinds of explanations. "See, I swear. I'm really sincere. She is so beautiful. When she looked at me just now, her eyes were like lightning." What kind of description was that? Jiang Mai was glaring at him with an unkind expression just now, right? Well, okay. When Jiang Mai was glaring at him in women's clothes, it was indeed too. His little eyes were full of unruly wildness, which could definitely arouse the desire of all men to conquer. "I've never seen a girl like her. She's so special." Orlando was still in a state of agitation and excitement. "Ningxi, of course you haven't seen her before because he's not a girl at all. Cece, if I can't be with him, I'll be better off dead than alive." My life will be meaningless. It'll be like a barren desert. Please help me, okay? Orlando looked extremely heartbroken, as if he was going to die in the next moment. Ningxi was very conflicted. This time, should she sell the golden retriever or the golden retriever? Ningxi thought for 3 seconds, and then nodded quickly. Okay, this is his cell phone number. The number is... Forget it, I'm afraid you can't remember it. I'll write it for you directly. Without hesitation, Ningxi quickly gave him Jiang Mai's cell phone number. Orlando clutched the small note excitedly. Sissy, thank you. If we get married, you must come to our wedding. Ningxi almost vomited blood. This is only the first time we've met, and you're already thinking of marriage? It was really unexpected that Jiang Mai's cross-dressing charm was so great that even the veteran playboy, Orlando, was mesmerized by him. Awesome, my golden retriever. At this moment, Jiang Mai, who was in the fitting room, suddenly sneezed. Fuck. Who's cursing me? TSK. I say, little junior sister, are you really going to stab your brother like this? Is it appropriate? Tang Lang, who was waiting for Ningxi in the car, watched the scene just now and expressed that he was simply amazed. This time, Tang Lang followed Ningxi to Luo City as a bodyguard. Every time Ningxi was filming, he would follow her. Naturally, he had seen Jiang Mai in women's clothing. Therefore, when Orlando spoke just now, he immediately knew who Black Rose was. Finally getting rid of Orlando, Ningxi was in a good mood and said with a smile, Of course not. I'm clearly helping my brother, okay? The golden retriever has always been unconfident in his cross-dressing, right? I'm helping him regain his confidence. I don't think he needs this kind of thing. Tang Lang looked extremely sympathetic. Chapter 2060. Without Orlando's entanglement, Ningxi spent the last few days in Luoyang City very comfortably and carefreely. Zhe Ling had been preparing to go public for a long time. Everything was ready. This time, taking advantage of the Lorraine Fashion Week, she successfully got listed on Wall Street. That day, Tang Lang clamored for Ningxi to treat him to a big meal. President Tang, if you don't treat me, I won't be able to accept it, right? Tang Lang touched his chin, looking as if he was going to beat her up. Ningxi rolled her eyes at him. Of course. But what's the point of us eating? I heard from third senior sister that she and eldest senior brother are also in Luoyang City. Why don't we invite them out? We haven't had a gathering for a long time. Tang Lang shrugged. Let's invite them. I have no objection. The two bosses have made peace for the time being. What else do we have to say? In the past, because the relationship between Lu Tingxiao and Yinshin was too tense, in order to avoid arousing suspicion, they almost never met in private. Now no one knew what kind of agreement the two parties had reached in private, but they unexpectedly shook hands and made up. Then I'll invite them. Ningxi happily dialed Feng Xiaoxiao's number. On the other end of the phone, when Feng Xiaoxiao heard that Ningxi wanted to invite them to dinner, she immediately agreed and promised to bring eldest senior brother. Half an hour later, the four brothers and sisters met at an intersection. Wu. Junior sister, you love to be hugged. Senior sister missed you. As soon as Feng Xiaoxiao came over, she immediately flew over and gave Ningxi a big bear hug. Third senior sister, I missed you too. Ningxi also rushed over excitedly. On the side, seeing Ningxi and Feng Xiaoxiao hugging each other, Tang Lang raised his eyebrows and looked at Tang Yi, who was wearing gold-rimmed glasses and expressionless as usual, with a faint smile. Eldest senior brother, how about we hug each other too? Then he opened his arms cheekily. Unsurprisingly, Tang Yi replied to Tang Lang with a look of looking at an idiot. Tang Lang clutched his chest with a hurt expression. Sigh, this is too sad. Seems like eldest senior brother doesn't miss me at all. The moment his voice fell, Tang Lang suddenly took a step forward, put his arm around the man's shoulder, and pressed him into his embrace. Although eldest senior brother is so heartless, I still miss eldest senior brother very much. Tang Ye's expression instantly stiffened, and he almost subconsciously made a move. In the end, his hand hovered in midair for a long time before he finally put it down as if he had compromised. Tang Lang seemed to have expected this, and the corners of his lips curled up in success. Let's go. I'll bring you guys out for a super feast. It's my treat today, you guys order whatever you want. Ningxi said happily. Feng Xiaoxiao rubbed Ningxi's face. Oh, my little junior sister is so capable. Becoming the CEO. Marrying a fair, rich and beautiful woman. Reaching the pinnacle of life. When senior sister retires, I will follow you. No problem. The four of them chatted as they walked towards a certain high-class restaurant in Luoyang City. Halfway there, Tang Lang was slinging his arm over Tang Ye's shoulder and talking in a carefree manner. All of a sudden, a foot stretched out from under his feet, causing him to be caught off guard and stumble, almost falling down. Fuck you. Who is it? Tang Lang immediately cursed. He saw a sloppy man who looked like a beggar sitting in the corner. The man used a newspaper to cover his face, and his long slender legs were the culprit who tripped Tang Lang earlier. Tang Lang rolled up his sleeves and was about to settle the score with that person. A gust of wind blew, and the newspaper on the man's face suddenly fell, revealing a ridiculously beautiful face. Tang Lang's eyes instantly widened, and he had an expression as if he had seen a ghost. Fuck. Grandfather. You. Why are you here? The update is over. Goodnight kisses. He. Guess who tripped Tang Lang? With so many gods gathered, I'm going to do something. Chapter 2061. Almighty. Ningxi was shocked to see someone paralyzed in the corner. Second senior brother, when did you have a grandfather? Feng Xiaoxiao looked over suspiciously and her eyes lit up. Holy shit. Second senior brother, your grandfather is so handsome? When Tang Yi saw the man's face clearly, his murderous aura surged and he tensed up. Ningxi hurried over to smooth things over. Hey, no. This is my friend, the Almighty I told you about before. Big senior brother, can you not look so scary? She walked over to Han Xiao speechlessly and looked at him lying on the street like a beggar. Almighty, why did you come to Luoyang City? Han Xiao clutched his lower abdomen and looked like he was on the verge of death. Ningxi thought he was injured and her face was full of nervousness. Almighty, are you? In the end, she heard this guy say, hungry. Ningxi was speechless. The Almighty was powerful, but his survival skills were really zero. She really didn't know how he had survived until today. However, meeting an old friend in a foreign place was still very pleasant. Ningxi hurriedly invited him. Almighty, we are going to eat. Do you want to go together? Okay. Han Xiao immediately turned over and stood up. KFC. Ningxi. Cough no. Tang Lang, who was eating a plate, said earnestly. Grandpa, can you stop thinking about those junk fried food? We're going to have a feast today. Han Xiao frowned slightly. I don't like it. Tang Lang continued to persuade him. Grandfather, I promise you will like it after you try it, and you will never want to eat that thing again. Han Xiao. Let's fight. Whoever wins gets to decide. Tang Lang immediately turned to Ningxi. Little junior sister, let's go eat KFC. Ningxi. Feng Xiaoxiao. Tang Yi. Alright, they couldn't beat him anyway. In the end, the feast that Tang Lang had been longing for turned into fried food just like that. What was worse was that there was no KFC nearby. In the end, they could only see that they were about to reach the entrance of the restaurant. They even took a detour and finally found one far away. In the small shop, 5 people sat around a small table bitterly. Goddess, why did you come to Luoyang City this time? Ningxi asked. A certain Almighty had a chicken in his left hand and a hamburger in his right. He was eating happily and couldn't hear anyone. Tang Lang muttered to Ningxi, Tang Yi, and Feng Xiaoxiao in a low voice. Hey, why don't the 4 of us do it together? Maybe we can win. Ningxi diligently handed the Almighty a drumstick, while shaking her head like a rattle drum. If you want to die, do it yourself. Don't drag me into this. Feng Xiaoxiao, on the other hand, looked eager. Is it really that powerful? I really want to try it. Ningxi reminded him seriously. Even eldest senior brother and second senior brother couldn't beat him. Forget it then. Feng Xiaoxiao immediately gave up on the idea. Han Xiao didn't know how long it had been since he last ate. Ningxi and Tang Lang were already used to it, but Feng Xiaoxiao and Tang Yi were dumbfounded. Especially Tang Yi. who originally had a vigilant expression on his face, but now the image of Han Xiao had probably completely collapsed in his mind. Chapter 2062. Ningxi and the others were speechless as they watched the god eat. Suddenly, there was a loud bang at the door. The door was kicked open. A group of tall, strong, muscular people in black vests rushed into the store with a murderous look, surrounded Ningxi's table in an instant, and then roared fiercely at other people in the store. "Other irrelevant people, get out of here!" They had guns in their hands. The customers in the store screamed and left. The employees all shivered and hid under the table. Ningxi was holding a chicken wing in her hand. She blinked her eyes and stood there in a daze. "Rob." Tang Lang held an ice cream in his hand and licked it lazily. "Robbery my ass. They're coming for you. Apart from this woman, the rest of you, get out of here. Mind your own business. Otherwise, don't blame me for being blind." One of the men wearing a skull necklace kicked over the stool next to him, and then threatened Tang Lang and the others except Ningxi. Tang Lang licked his ice cream. Feng Xiaoxiao held her chin and smiled strangely. Tang Yi sat expressionlessly. Han Xiao was focused on eating and didn't even lift his head. The reaction of the four angered the man. The skeleton man was furious. "Mixed hair. Yellow pig. Weak chicken. And you, sissy. I'm talking to you. Do you hear me? Do you want to die?" Mixed hair Tang Lang. Yellow pig Feng Xiaoxiao. Weak chicken Tang Yi. Sissy Han Xiao. Cough 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 cough. Hearing the man's words, Ningxi spat out a mouthful of cola and coughed violently. "Damn, brother, you're awesome." Offending four Grim Reapers with one sentence. Sure enough, the moment the skeleton man finished speaking, the atmosphere at the small round table changed. Mixed hair. Tang Lang touched the curly hair he was so proud of. His gaze was like a knife. Tang Ye's gold-rimmed glasses glinted coldly. Feng Xiaoxiao slammed the table angrily. "Fuck. What the hell did you just scold me for?" As for Han Xiao, he was much calmer. He was focused on eating the second family bucket. The skeleton man's expression was fierce. With a bloodthirsty expression, he said gloomily, "Since you guys want to die, then don't blame me for being impolite. Brothers, attack." Then, Ningxi shrunk back to the Almighty's side, and weakly covered her eyes with her hands. Probably because Tang Lang looked the most annoying, the skeleton man attacked Tang Lang first. Tang Lang sat there motionlessly until the other party's fist was about to reach the space between his eyebrows. Then he waved his palm and lightly caught the other party's fist. A bone-chilling sound of breaking bones rang out. "Ah!" The skeleton man let out a heart-wrenching scream. On Tang Ye's side, most of the people probably thought that he was the weakest because he was wearing glasses, so most of them ran over to attack him. The final result was so bloody that Ningxi couldn't even bear to watch. A cacophony of crackling noises could be heard in the store. Ghostly wails and wolf-like howls could be heard one after another. It was like hell. A group of fiendish-looking burly men crawled on the ground and begged for their grandpa and grandma. The man with the skeleton necklace who was hooting earlier was kicked far away by Tang Lang, and in the blink of an eye, he was caught by Feng Xiaoxiao who was on the opposite side. Just like kicking a ball, he was tormented by the two of them until he was dizzy and disoriented. Ningxi clicked her tongue and shook her head miserably. This group of people, could they be idiots? It was like a flock of fat lambs charging into a wolf's den. Chapter 2063. One of the minions shivered as he hid under the table, poked his head out, and raised his gun in Ningxi's direction. Bang! At the same time as the gunshot, a terrifying gust of wind swept past Ningxi's body. The minion's eyes widened as he watched the bullet change its trajectory, and finally shot into the wall behind them. The gust of wind swept everything on the table to the ground. The minion hiding under the table suddenly saw an extremely beautiful face, as well as a pair of indifferent but chilling eyes. In the next second, the minion was pulled out from the corner by the strength of an iron claw. Then, with a dong sound, he was pressed onto the food that had been swept all over the ground. "Who allowed you to waste food?" The man's voice was like a demon from hell. "Hello, is this the police?" "Yes, we've met." The shop assistant was originally hiding under the table on the phone. But in a short moment, after seeing the situation clearly, he suddenly couldn't say a word. Hello. Hello? May I ask what you've met? Is there a robbery? The police on the other end of the phone asked. The shop assistant looked at the 4 murderous gods in the shop, and was stunned. He swallowed his saliva with difficulty. I'm sorry. I probably drank too much. With that, he hung up the phone with a smack. Spare me. Masters and madam, spare me. I had eyes but failed to recognize Mt. Tai. The skeleton man's hand was broken, his nose was bruised, and his face was swollen. His original appearance was completely unrecognizable, and he couldn't even speak fluently. Fuck. If he had known earlier, he wouldn't have been greedy for that bitch's money. How would he have known that Ningxi would bring such terrifying people with her this time? Although he was just a small leader of a gang branch and didn't have much knowledge, he at least knew that these 4 people were definitely not simple, especially that beautiful long-haired man. He could even block bullets. He was simply not human. Which gang are you from? Tell me your name. Tang Lang sat back down, 1 foot on the chair. The skeleton man heard the whooshing sound of Feng Xiaoxiao's whip, and immediately replied, So? Solomon. I am one of Solomon's men. The skeletal man was initially hoping to get lucky, thinking that perhaps revealing Solomon's name would be able to intimidate these people. In the end, in the next second, he heard Tang Lang say airily, Coincidentally, my hands have been itching lately. It'll be pretty good to destroy a sect for fun. Solomon? Why did it sound so familiar? Ningxi frowned, but she didn't think too much about it. She said, Solomon? Never heard of it. Who was the boss of this gang? He can't be an idiot, right? Even if he didn't recognize a great deity like Han Xiao, how could he not recognize Tang Lang, Tang Yi, and Feng Xiaoxiao? Moreover, he still ran over to throw his life away. Even if he wanted to deal with her, he should at least find out the situation of the people around her, right? Whatever, let's meet him first. We don't have anything to do anyway. Feng Xiaoxiao replied excitedly. Recently, she had nothing to do, and her hands had been itching for a long time. Han Xiao furrowed his brows. I'm not full yet. Ningxi hurriedly comforted him. Great deity, let's go rob. Ugh pooey, let's go collect some protection fees. That doesn't sound much better. Anyway, we'll have money once we get there. By then, you can even buy KFC if you want. Han Xiao. Let's go. Chapter 2064. Just like that, Ningxi's group of 5 suppressed the small leader and the hooligan and charged towards Solomon. On the way, Tang Yi pondered. If the Solomon they are talking about is the same as the one I know, then this Solomon should be the biggest organization in Europe, but it gradually declined. Its current boss is the weakest leader, and was almost usurped by his deputy. Tangxi, how did you mess with Solomon's people? Ningxi shrugged and looked innocent. I'm confused too. I don't know how I messed with them. Feng Xiaoxiao waved her hand nonchalantly. Why don't we capture their idiot boss and interrogate him? At the gate of the headquarters, Tang Lang kicked the skeleton's head against the gate, making a loud noise. Soon there was a flurry of footsteps and the people inside came out. Who are you? A white man who was at least 2 meters tall rushed out. When he saw the skeleton man lying on the ground and twitching, he scowled. Jason, what's going on? Then he looked gloomily at Ningxi, Tang Yi, and the other 3 people at the door. Who are you? How dare you mess with Solomon's people? Do you want to die? Jason trembled with fear when he heard this. Joseph, keep your voice down. Keep your voice down. After that, he whispered a few words into the man's ear, his face full of fear. What? Seeing the 2 of them whispering to each other, Tang Lang impatiently yawned. Who is your boss? Let him come out and talk. Hearing Jason's words, Joseph looked more cautious. Do you think you can see our boss whenever you want? Who the hell are you guys? Tell me your name. Feng Xiaoxiao waved the whip in her hand. You're not qualified to know my name. Joseph glanced at the whip in Feng Xiaoxiao's hand, and his expression instantly changed. In the next second, he noticed the gold-rimmed glasses on Tang Ye's face, and his face paled even further. He then looked at Tang Ye's almost iconic curly hair, and his legs began to tremble. Could it be that you are shit? Could it be that these people were the legendary? But looking at the characteristics, everything matched up. It seemed like they were only short of thousand-faced ghostly hands Tang Shi. Well, was that soft-looking beauty Tang Shi in disguise? Who was the long-haired man beside the beauty? If it was really these four people, then wouldn't the identity of the man who could travel with these four people be even more terrifying? Joseph didn't dare to continue thinking about it. Just then, a series of heavy footsteps came from behind. They strode out of the door. The one walking in front was a middle-aged man, and beside him was a bald man. Boss. Seeing the middle-aged man, Joseph, Jason, and the other lackeys immediately bowed their heads respectfully and greeted him. Seeing that the main character had come out, Tang Lang raised his eyebrows and asked, "You are the boss of Solomon?" The middle-aged man's face darkened as he glanced at the five people who were obviously here to cause trouble. Just as he was about to speak, his eyes fell on a delicate and cute girl in a pink dress among the five people. In the next second, his face suddenly changed. The middle-aged man looked as if he had been struck by lightning. His eyes widened as he stared at Ningxi's direction. Then, his originally fierce eyes were filled with tears. Like an abandoned pet seeing its owner, he stared at Ningxi with agitation and grievance. Boss, you're finally back." Chapter 2065. Boss, you're finally back. As the middle-aged man roared with tears in his eyes, Tang Lang, Tang Yi, Feng Xiaoxiao, and Han Xiao all turned to look at Ningxi. Ningxi stretched out a pale finger and pointed at her own nose with a dumbfounded expression. "Ha! Are you calling me?" At this moment, the baldy beside the middle-aged man also rushed out with tears and snot. "Boss, I thought you didn't want us anymore." Ningxi. "What the hell?" Ningxi only reacted after a long time. She said with a suspicious expression, Wait, explain yourself. Who's your boss? Did you guys get the wrong person?" The middle-aged man's expression was so sorrowful that it was as if Ningxi was a heartless man. "Boss, did you forget me? I'm Zeus." The baldy immediately said, "I'm Buddy. Boss, you saved our lives. Back then, when Jeffrey took over Solomon, you were the one who destroyed their nest. Without you, there wouldn't be Solomon. Boss, have you forgotten all this?" Ningxi's mind was a mess of fog. She still had no recollection. What Buddy, what Zeus, what Jeffrey? She didn't know any of them. At this moment, Feng Xiaoxiao, who was next to Ningxi, suddenly slapped her head in realization. "Oh my God! I remember now. Little junior sister, they're telling the truth. I was there too. Didn't you come to St. Bernardine to look for me? I wasn't home at that time. When you came to my house to look for me, you encountered a group of assassins. In the end, you followed those assassins to this good-for-nothing boss's house. At that time, he was almost killed by those assassins. You were the one who saved him. After that, we went to Jeffrey's nest together." Ningxi finally recalled something as she listened to Feng Xiaoxiao reminiscing about the past. She didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Fuck. It seems like there really was such a thing. Jeffrey seemed to have some grudge with Feng Xiaoxiao, so he recklessly hired assassins to assassinate Feng Xiaoxiao. Later, because she was worried about Feng Xiaoxiao's safety, she followed those assassins to Zeus's house and saved the good-for-nothing. She wanted him to bring her to Jeffrey. When she arrived at Jeffrey's lair, Feng Xiaoxiao's men had also arrived at the same time and directly wiped out Jeffrey's group. This matter had happened too long ago that Ningxi had completely forgotten about it. Feng Xiaoxiao's enemies were as numerous as the fish in the river. If it wasn't for the fact that it was mentioned, she would probably have forgotten about it as well. "Boss, you finally remembered." The bald man named Buddy was excited. The good-for-nothing boss wiped his tears and said, "Boss, when you weren't around, we were always working hard to develop the gang. I'm waiting for the day you come back." When Ningxi heard the two of them calling her boss, she felt a headache coming on. Wait a minute. That's not right. Let's say I saved you guys by accident. But when did I become your boss? She remembered that this good-for-nothing boss seemed to have told her something like Solomon respects the strong, and since she had saved them, he wanted her to be the new boss. But she had clearly rejected him on the spot. "From the moment you saved us, in our hearts, You're already our boss. Baldy Buddy said with a matter-of-fact expression. The good-for-nothing boss, Zeus, also nodded in agreement. Yes. At the side, Tang Lang laughed out loud and said in a despicable manner, Ayaya, little junior sister. So, that idiot was you? Ningxi, shut up. She was basically being shot while lying down, alright. Chapter 2066. Zeus took a look at Feng Xiaoxiao, whom he had met that day, and then at the others, saying excitedly, Boss, these people must be the masters of the Tang sect, right? As soon as he said this, the lackeys and the leader of the branch were all dumbfounded. What was going on? The person they wanted to kill turned out to be their boss, and these passers-by were all the masters of the Tang sect. The leader's legs trembled and he immediately knelt down. Yes. I'm sorry. Boss, I didn't know. I really didn't know it was you and the masters. Boss, what's going on? What happened? Zeus noticed Jason and the others and couldn't help frowning. Oh, nothing. We were having dinner just now and these people suddenly appeared and wanted to kill us. Ningxi's casual words stunned Zeus and Buddy. Boss, what did you say? This bastard wants to kill you? Jason looked like he was about to cry. Boss Zeus, let me explain. It's not what you think. I took a job privately and the other party wanted to kill Ningxi, a Chinese actress. I didn't know. I really didn't know the identity of this person was. Ningxi raised her eyebrows when she heard this. Oh, someone wanted to kill me? Yes, the other party offered 10 million yuan. I was blinded by greed. As soon as Jason said this, Tang Lang held his belly and almost rolled on the ground laughing. Ha ha ha, I'm dying of laughter. The legendary thousand-faced ghost Han Tang, she was offered 10 million yuan to kill you. And they sent such a high-level killer to kill you. Shit. Thousand-faced ghost Han Tang Shi. Jason looked at Ningxi with a horrified expression. Wasn't Tang Shi a man? Ningxi's face was as dark as the bottom of a pot when she saw Tang Lang gloating. That's enough. You're worth a lot of money. Hey little lamb, which idiot hired you? Feng Xiaoxiao asked with a smile. Jason looked like he was in a difficult position. This. Sir, you know the rules of the industry. If he said the name of the employer, he would be kicked to the ground. As soon as Jason finished speaking, he was kicked to the ground by Buddy. S*******. You idiot. Is your brain full of shit? Jason's bones were about to break from the kick. At the same time, he finally came to his senses. He was about to lose his life today, so why would he care about the rules of the industry? Ningxi waved her hand nonchalantly and curled her lips. Alright, even if he doesn't tell me, I probably know who it is. With great divine Prince Han Xiao by her side, no one would dare to lay a finger on her. And these small fish and shrimps could only be ordinary people who were not part of the circle. Not long after Lorraine Fashion Week had ended, she had been attacked. Thinking back to the time when she had used a fake gun on the set of Thunderbolt more than a year ago, Ningxi said tentatively, Let me ask you, did your employer ask you to kidnap a Hua student and threaten his sister to work for you? Seeing that the previous matter had been exposed, Jason's small body trembled. He had completely confessed. Yes. Boss, I won't dare to do it again. I'll return the bill right now. I won't have anything to do with that person again. Ningxi seemed to have thought of something and chuckled. That won't be necessary. Chapter 2067. A no need? Boss, what do you mean? Jason asked weakly. I'll give you a chance to prove yourself. Do you want it? Jason's eyes lit up. He didn't expect to survive today. His head was about to fall off from his neck. Next, a certain useless boss made a heart-wrenching apology to Ningxi and cried bitterly to express his loyalty. He promised that he would listen to her arrangements, otherwise he would break Jason's legs and throw him into the sea to feed the fish. After figuring out what had happened, Ningxi didn't intend to stay any longer. However, Buddy was smart enough to notice that the long-haired man, who seemed to be lazy and impatient, had the highest status among Ningxi's group. Buddy went over to him and asked him for a few words. Then he directly grabbed several KFC employees to cook for them, and bought all the KFC stores in Luo City as gifts. Finally, Buddy succeeded in making Ningxi stay. Thus, Ningxi and the others stayed at Solomon's for a night before leaving. After eating and drinking to his heart's content, God Han Xiao directly patted his butt and left. Ningxi, Feng Xiaoxiao, and Tang Yi also reluctantly said goodbye. 2 days later, Ningxi finished her work in Luoyang City and set off for home. This trip to Luoyang City was fruitful. China, the Ning family's old house. After returning home, Ning Xuelua used homesickness as an excuse and went back to her parents' house. She couldn't stand Zheng Minjun's sarcastic face. She had specially gotten an invitation for Zheng Minjun during the Lorraine Fashion Week, so Zheng Minjun had been present throughout the event. She thought that history would shine this time, but who knew that things would happen? Zheng Minjun felt embarrassed that she returned home alone without waiting for her. After returning home, her attitude towards her was even worse. The most infuriating thing was that Zheng Minjun always pretended to casually compare her with Ning Xi in front of her. In addition, history's situation was getting worse. She was in a terrible situation. Ning Xuelua was sitting on the sofa in the living room with a gloomy face. Footsteps came from outside the door. Ning Yaohua and Zhuang Lingyu had returned. Zhuang Lingyu was delighted to see Ning Xuelua. "Xuelu, you're back." She looked at her and frowned. "How did you lose weight? You're still pregnant. This won't do." Ning Xuelua lowered her eyes and looked dejected. "Mom, I'm fine. It's just that I've been busy with work recently." Ning Yaohua said in a deep voice, "What happened to history wasn't your fault. Don't blame yourself too much." Zhuang Lingyu pulled Ning Xue to the sofa and sat down. She was furious. "I told you that the wretched girl wanted to go against the Ning family, but you didn't believe me. Do you believe me now? If she didn't do it on purpose, why did she have to hire that person out of all the designers? You even embarrassed Xue Luo in front of so many people." Ning Yaohua knew that Ning Xi was now on good terms with the Zhuang family, so he had always wanted to ease the relationship between them. But at this moment he was speechless. He coughed lightly and said, "Cici really went too far in this matter. No matter what, they were still a family. There was no need to make things so ugly. Moreover, Xue Luo is still pregnant, so she isn't afraid that Xue Luo will suffer any harm from the stimulation." Zhuang Lingyu said grumpily, "I'm afraid she can't wait for that to happen." Ning Xuelua looked forlorn. "Mom, you can't blame sister for this. I can only blame myself for not being a good person. It's just that, Mom, I really feel terrible. History is my blood and sweat, but now it's all ruined." Chapter 2068. Looking at Ning Xuelua's sad face, Zhuang Lingyu felt sorry for her. "Xuelua, don't be sad. It's just a clothing company. It's not a big deal if it's gone. The most important thing for you now is to take care of yourself and give birth to the child. Then you can start all over again." Ning Yaohua echoed, "Your mother is right. Nothing is more important than the child." This was the key for her to gain a foothold in the Su family. With the power of the Su family, it would be a trivial matter for her to open a company in the future. Zhuang Lingyu and Ning Yaohua were comforting their daughter. At this moment, an unfamiliar woman who looked like a nanny carefully came out of the kitchen with a bowl of soup in her hand. "Madam Zhuang, you're back. The anti-miscarriage soup is ready. Drink it while it's hot." Anti-miscarriage soup. Ning Xuelua was acting like an obedient daughter who had been wronged by a genius, but forbore to argue with Ning Xi for the sake of Zhuang Lingyu and Ning Yaohua. Suddenly hearing the nanny's words, her face went blank for a second. Did she hear it wrong? Did the nanny just say, "anti-miscarriage soup"? For Madame Zhuang? The nanny walked up to them, and found that there was another person sitting on the sofa besides Zhuang Lingyu. She immediately said, "This must be Miss Ning. She's as beautiful and elegant as you, madam. I heard that you're also pregnant, so I made a lot of it. Miss Ning, please have a bowl." Ning Xuelua was completely dumbfounded. She had no idea what was going on. "Mom, this is..." Zhuang Lingyu didn't expect the nanny to suddenly come out and bump into Ning Xuelu. She subconsciously touched her belly and looked a little embarrassed, as if she didn't know what to say. Ning Yaohua's expression seemed a little unnatural. He coughed lightly and said with a red face, "Xue Luo, this is the new auntie I hired. She specializes in making pregnant women's meals. Your mother, she is pregnant. What? Ning Yaohua's words were like a bolt of lightning striking her mind. Ning Xuelua realized that her reaction seemed to be too extreme. She hurriedly calmed herself down and put on a surprised expression. Dad, what did you just say? Mother is pregnant? Ning Yaohua held Zhuang Lingyu's hand and said excitedly, yes. Xueluo, you also know that because of your mother's health condition, she couldn't have another child. This has always been a regret for us. In fact, for the past year, your mother and I have been trying our best to find someone to be a surrogate mother, but we haven't been successful. Originally, we didn't have any hope. Who knew that your mother was pregnant? At this point, Ning Yaohua's excitement was hard to conceal, and Zhuang Lingyu's face was also filled with happiness. Ning Xuelua's mind went blank when she heard that. It was followed by a burning rage. Zhuang Lingyu was pregnant. At this time, Zhuang Lingyu was actually pregnant. Ning Yaohua thought that Ning Xuelua was too surprised. He did not notice the gloomy look on her face. He was still immersed in joy. You've been busy lately, so I didn't have time to tell you the good news. Xueluo, you are indeed our Ning family's little lucky star. Now our Ning family is really blessed with double happiness. Double happiness. What a double happiness. Ning Xuelua's internal organs felt like they were on fire. She was so angry that she almost suffered internal injuries. Chapter 2069. Ning Yaohua didn't notice Ning Xuelua's true feelings at all. He said sincerely, Xuelua, it's been hard on you all these years. You're a girl, but you've been working hard for the company every day. When your brother grows up and takes over the company, you'll be able to put down the burden on your shoulders. I used to worry that your mother and I only had one daughter. Now, after your mother and I die, you and your mother will have each other's company. Your mother and I will be relieved. Brother, that's right. They must have gone for a checkup to confirm that the baby in their wombs was a boy. The long-awaited heir of the Ning family. Otherwise, they wouldn't be so happy. Ning Xuelua trembled with anger as she listened to Ning Yaohua's words. When my brother grows up and takes over the company. She had tried so hard to force Ningxi to leave because she was their only daughter. If they had a son now, who would be their own flesh and blood, would she still have a place in the Ning family? They were burning the bridge after they had a son. And they even said that they would have each other's company and felt sorry for her. They were just throwing her away after using her, without any consideration for her at all. She was already in a difficult situation in the Su family, and Zhuang Lingyu was pregnant with a boy, the future heir of the Ning family. She was being driven to death. Ning Xuelua swallowed the mouthful of blood. Her face was filled with surprise. That's great. That's great. Congratulations, Mom and Dad. Zhuang Lingyu took Ning Xuelua's hand. Thank you, Xuelua. Don't worry. We won't neglect you just because we have a brother. You'll always be my most precious daughter. Ning Xuelua sneered in her heart, but she pretended to be happy for her and said gratefully, Mom, of course I know that. I've always hoped to have a partner, and I hope to have a brother who can be filial to Mom and Dad with me and support me. Hearing Ning Xuelua's words, Ning Yaohua dispelled the last uneasiness and worries in his heart. He immediately said, Of course. If your brother doesn't support you, who else can he support? Zhuang Lingyu was worried that Ning Xuelua would be unhappy. She was relieved when she saw Ning Xuelua's attitude. She said gently, Stay at home for a few more days. Mom will nourish you well. The smile on Ning Xuelua's face became even brighter. She said expectantly, Mom, you should take good care of your brother. It just so happens that the child in my belly can accompany you. Ning Yaohua nodded with satisfaction as he looked at the happy mother and daughter. He put on a fatherly expression and took the opportunity to say, Xueluo, I will pay more attention to the company during this period. You don't have to worry about it. Just stay at home with your mother and rest well. When Ning Xueluo heard this, her back stiffened and her nails dug into her palms. Well, she finally got rid of Ningxi, that bitch, and got all the shares of Ning Yaohua and Ning Yaobang. Now she had the real power of the company. Now just because of this unborn child, He was trying to take back the power in her hands step by step, paving the way for his precious son? What a considerate and loving father. Chapter 2070. Thank you, Dad. You are so kind to me. If there is a next life, I will be your daughter again. Ning Xuelua was touched. She looked innocent as if she didn't notice anything. Dear Town Garden House. Knock, knock, knock. The peaceful morning was suddenly broken by a loud knock on the door. The man outside the door was shouting at the top of his lungs. Ning Xiaoxi. Ning Xiaoxi, come out. Don't hide in there. I know you are at home. Hurry up and come out for this young lord. Ning Shi, who was playing with Lu Tingxiao in the garden, spat out a mouthful of tea when she heard the voice. She carefully leaned on Lu Tingxiao's shoulder and looked out. Oh no. The cat is out of the bag. The golden retriever is going to bite me to death this time. Lu Tingxiao glanced at the door. What did you do? Oh well. Ning Shi laughed dryly. Ning Xiaoxi. How dare you betray me? Open the door if you can. Open the door. Jiang Mai was still shouting outside. Ning Shi coughed lightly and explained. Actually, I didn't do anything. Here's the thing. Do you remember Orlando? Hearing this name, Lu Tingxiao narrowed his eyes. Yes. Of course he remembered. How could he not remember someone who had once coveted his wife? He had a small notebook in his heart. Obviously, this notebook was very thick. Thanks to Boss Lu's excellent memory, he could remember everything. Sai, isn't Thunderbolt about to be released? This time, when I went to Luoyang City for work, it was inevitable that I would bump into Orlando. In the end, that playboy acted up again. Thinking about how we would be working together for a long time in the future, I didn't want to make our relationship too awkward. Just as I was worrying about it, guess what happened? Ning Shi's eyes lit up as she said this. She seemed to be keeping him guessing. What happened? Lu Tingxiao's fingers stroked the girl's soft hair. His eyes focused on the girl's excited and lively expression. Ning Shi said excitedly. Then that day, Orlando came to the set of The Killers to look for me and met Jiang Mai. Jiang Mai dressed in women's clothes. Ning Shi deliberately emphasized the last sentence. Lu Tingxiao raised his eyebrows. Love at first sight. Ning Shi slapped her thigh. Sweetheart, you are so smart. Lu Tingxiao didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This development was indeed hard to imagine. Sweetheart, you don't know this. When Orlando saw Jiang Mai in women's clothes, he said that he fell in love and begged me to help him. He also said that he would invite me to their wedding in the future. Seeing how sincere he was, I naturally agreed. Don't you think so? He. Lu Tingxiao. Just as Ning Shi was feeling proud of herself, her fair and delicate chin was suddenly pinched by a slightly calloused finger. And then there was a deep and lingering kiss. Ning Shi, who was suddenly kissed by the devil, widened her eyes and blinked. Why did he suddenly kiss me? But it didn't matter anyway. Ning Shi paused for a while, and then took the initiative to kiss him back. A moment later, Lu Tingxiao breathed heavily against the girl's lips and said, Reward. It took Ning Shi 3 seconds to understand what Lu Tingxiao meant. Oh, is my sweetheart praising me for obediently pinching the peach blossom? She really admired her ability to understand. At this moment, outside the gate of the courtyard, a single man was still barking miserably. Ning Xiaoxi, you are so heartless to the opposite sex. Our friendship has come to an end. Ning Shi murmured, Alas, we can't be brothers, but we can be aunts. Chapter 2071. In the end, the rabid golden retriever rushed in. Ning Xiaoxi, don't hide behind my uncle. Ning Shi curled her lips. Am I stupid? Then she began to gossip. Hey Jiang Mai, what did Orlando do to you? Why are you so angry? Jiang Mai clutched his chest and almost vomited blood. I was pissed off by you. Ning Shi mumbled weakly. Come on, you're a man. Why are you afraid of him? He can eat you up. When two scums meet, one of them will win. I think that with your skills, you can definitely kill him in a second. Jiang Mai gnashed his teeth. Thank you for your confidence in me. Besides, Orlando is far away in China. Ning Shi was still struggling. Bullshit. Thunderbolt will be released the day after tomorrow. That guy has been in China all this time. Jiang Mai looked like he was about to collapse. Ningxi suddenly came to her senses. She patted her chest and sighed. Oh right. Oh my God. Thank God. Fortunately, Jiang Mai had saved her from this disaster. Ning Xiaoxi. Jiang Mai was furious again. This bastard had deliberately used him as a shield. Ningxi's hair was about to be blown up. Just then, Lu Tingxiao looked at Jiang Mai with his little wife in his arms. Your mother just called me. The moment Lu Tingxiao's voice fell, Jiang Mai was stunned. Damn. My mother. What did she say to you? Every time his mother came to see Lu Tingxiao, nothing good would come out of it. Sure enough, just as Jiang Mai was thinking about this, Lu Tingxiao said, discuss your marriage with me. Fuck. Jiang Mai cursed. Couldn't his mother stop for a while? She knew he was most afraid of Lu Tingxiao, so she always used Lu Tingxiao to pressure him and force him to get married. I'll help you. You're busy with your career now. You don't have to worry about marriage. Jiang Mai's face was as pale as a sheet. When he heard this, he felt like he was bathed in Buddha's light. He was so excited that he almost cried. Right. Uncle, you're absolutely right. One had to know that no matter who it was, 800 words from Lu Tingxiao would not be as useful as a single word from him in front of his mother. With Lu Tingxiao's words, he wouldn't be forced into marriage for at least a year. Jiang Mai carefully considered this deal and decided that it was not a bad deal. Forget it. I'll just take it as me helping you out this time. Damn it, back then he was still one of the best among the prodigal sons. Among the 10,000 flowers, not a single leaf touched his body. How could he be afraid that he wouldn't be able to deal with Alland? Oh sweetheart, you're the best. Jiang Mai had just calmed down when he saw a certain someone was kissing his sweetheart. Please. I'm the one who sacrificed myself. And I'm the one who helped you. Forget it. Heartache. Jiang Mai gnashed his teeth in anger as he looked at the lovey-dovey couple in front of him. At this time, Jiang Mai seemed to have thought of something, and his expression suddenly changed. He did not know when it started. Seeing the two of them together, he no longer felt so sour and uncomfortable. It was as if he was looking at a friend or even a relative. He Lu Tingxiao, that guy's eyes were too sharp. He probably saw that he had already given up, so he kindly helped him reject the blind date. Forget it. His love rival was too abnormal, and the person he liked was even more abnormal. He had lost to the point where he didn't have any temper at all. Chapter 2072. 2 days later, Agents of the Thunderbolt was released worldwide. It was only the first day, but all the fans who had watched the entire movie were shocked. 7 seconds. Nothing else. Nothing else. Ningxi appeared in the movie for a full 15 minutes, and her role was extremely outstanding. She even had an ambiguous relationship with Orlando. There was even a foreshadowing at the end of the movie. It was very likely that Ningxi would be resurrected to participate in the filming of the second movie. The entire fan circle was in an uproar. Ningxi's fans were exhilarated. Oh, Brother Shi's Red Chong Sam in the movie is so beautiful. Nonsense. I'm a woman and I want to lick the screen. Especially the scene between Brother Shi and Orlando. It's so cute. I'm looking forward to the second movie. I'm going to watch the second movie tomorrow. This time, if anyone dares to say that my brother Shi got the hitman through connections and shady dealings, I'll slap him to the wall so hard that he can't be pulled out. Brother Shi entered Hollywood a year ago, okay? Tai Jingjing's strength and foundation are right there. Ning Xuelua's diehard fans who haven't given up are still saying that Brother Shi stole Ning Xuelua's Agents of the Thunderbolt. Come on, when Ning Xuelua was still in the industry, the role she got was only for 7 seconds. Now that it's in Brother Shi's hands, Brother Shi has become an important character. That's the difference. In a dark room, Ning Xuelua's face reflected the cold light of the laptop screen. The news of the screening of the Thunderbolt Special Agent Force was everywhere on the internet, and they were all praising Ning Shi. It was hers. Agents of the Thunderbolt was supposed to be hers. Everything that Ning Shi had today was supposed to be hers. Those gazes, those applause, those overflowing praises, Su Yan, the Ning family. But soon. Everything would be over soon. Ning Xuelua picked up a glass of red wine and drank it in one gulp. Ningxi, enjoy everything now. I've said it before. The higher you stand, the harder you fall. A luxury shopping mall in Imperial City. Zhuang Lingyu had just returned from the nursery with a full load, and she was still a little unsatisfied. The two maids and the chauffeur beside her were all carrying big and small bags. Madam, we've been out for a long time. Let's go home. Otherwise, Mr. will be worried. The maid at the side hurriedly advised. It's only been an hour. Don't listen to him. Zhuang Lingyu was a little disappointed. The maid smiled apologetically. Sir, he's just worried about you and cares about you. After all, madam, it wasn't easy for you to have this child. Speaking of children, Zhuang Lingyu subconsciously stroked her lower abdomen. Her eyes filled with tenderness. She had always treated Ning Xuelua as her own daughter. However, the fact that her own flesh and blood was so unbearable had always been a hurdle in her heart. Ningxi was the biggest stain on her life. No matter how she tried to distance herself from her, it couldn't change the fact that her blood flowed in her body. She desperately wanted to prove that the dirty stain had nothing to do with her, so she poured all her efforts into Ning Xuelua. She was naturally satisfied with Ning Xuelua. However, if she could have a child and have her own flesh and blood, she would naturally be happy to have a fresh start. Let's go. Zhuang Lingyu was in a good mood, so she didn't care too much. The few of them heaved a sigh of relief and hurriedly escorted Zhuang Lingyu to the parking lot. Just as they were about to get into the car with Zhuang Lingyu, something unexpected happened. Chapter 2073. Just as they were about to get into the car with Zhuang Lingyu, something happened. A black motorcycle with a loud roar suddenly rushed straight in their direction from afar. Be careful, madam. The driver protected Zhuang Lingyu and dodged to the back. Just as they heaved a sigh of relief, the heavy-duty motorcycle suddenly changed its direction and headed towards them. Strictly speaking, it was heading straight for Zhuang Lingyu. The speed of the motorcycle was too fast. This time, Zhuang Lingyu did not manage to dodge it. By the time the maid and the driver reacted, Zhuang Lingyu had already been hit more than a meter away. She fell into a pool of blood and passed out on the spot. The heavy-duty motorcycle didn't even wait for them to clearly see what it looked like before it had completely disappeared into the crowd. Ah! Murder! 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 Madam! The two maids screamed. The driver was completely scared out of his wits. After a while, his expression changed drastically and he ran over. Madam! Make a call. Call Chairman Ning and Miss Su. Quick! The onlookers all exclaimed after noticing the situation. They gathered together and whispered. The scene suddenly became a mess. What happened? It seems like she was hit by a car. There seems to be a gang of bikers robbing people, but I've never heard of anyone being killed. Aya, this seems to be a pregnant woman. I'm afraid the child is going to die. I saw that the car was so fierce that it could probably kill an adult, let alone a child. TSK. In the ward of the hospital. The middle-aged woman on the bed was sweating profusely. Her face was as pale as a piece of paper. Zhuang Lingyu opened her eyes in a daze. She felt like her whole body was falling apart. Her lower abdomen was throbbing violently. Her blurry vision swept across the room. She saw Ning Yaohua, Ning Xuelua, Su Yan, Zheng Minjun and Su Hongguang, as well as the two maids and the driver who accompanied her shopping earlier were all there. The atmosphere in the room was unusually heavy. Ning Xuelua lowered her head and sobbed with tears all over her face. Ning Yaohua's expression was extremely ugly. The three people from the Su family did not have any expression, but the two maids and the driver were pale and trembling in the corner. What's wrong with me? Zhuang Lingyu asked slowly. The moment she opened her mouth, she suddenly remembered what had happened. She had just finished shopping and was about to go home when she was hit by a speeding car. Then, she lost consciousness. At this moment, looking at the ward she was in and the reactions of everyone in the room, Zhuang Lingyu's face was full of horror. She anxiously stretched out her hand to press her stomach. Where's the child? How's my baby? Is the baby okay? Ning Xuelua seemed to be unable to hold on any longer. She cried and threw herself in front of Zhuang Lingyu's bed. Mom, don't be too sad. It doesn't matter if the child is gone, as long as you're fine. The child was gone. These 4 words were like a bolt out of the blue, causing Zhuang Lingyu's vision to turn black as she hissed, "Shuelua, what did you say? What did you just say? The child was gone. How could the child be gone?" At this moment, Ning Yaohua's eyes were bloodshot and his body was trembling violently. It was obvious that he was extremely angry. He turned around and kicked the driver. "You bastard! How did you take care of Madam? How could you let Madam get hit by a car while you were shopping?" Gone. His son was gone. The son that he had waited so long for, his heir, was gone just like that. Chapter 2074. His biggest regret in life was not having a son. Not only did he have one, but Zhuang Lingyu was pregnant with him. Once the child was born, he would be the heir of the Ning family. By then, those elders who questioned Ning Shuelua's identity would have nothing to say. He even planned to use the child to get back in touch with the Zhuang family. But now, everything was gone. When Ning Yaohua first heard the news, he was so angry that he almost went crazy. Such a big thing happened, and the madam's child was actually killed. The 2 little maids trembled, and they were so scared that they couldn't speak at all. Chairman Ning and Madam loved the child so much. They were dead meat. The driver's face was as pale as a sheet. His body and hands were still stained with blood. Ning Yaohua's kick had left him bruised and swollen. He was in a trance and stammered, "Chairman Ning, I don't know. I really don't know how this happened. We were just about to go home with Madam when a motorcycle suddenly came towards us at high speed and hit Madam." Nonsense. A living person was standing there. Did the motorcycle not have eyes? Ning Yaohua was furious. Ning Shuelua said angrily, "There were so many of you and you had so many eyes. How could you not protect my mother?" Hearing Ning Shuelua's angry rebuke, she thought that they had not taken good care of her and pushed all the blame onto them. The driver panicked and quickly said, "Miss, I'm innocent. It's not that we are blind. It's that motorcyclist who was blind. He came straight at us. I protected Madam and dodged to the back, but it was as if that person did it on purpose. He changed his direction midway and came straight at Madam." "On purpose? What do you mean?" Ning Shuelua frowned. Then the 2 maids recovered from the shock and echoed, "I think the motorcyclist did it on purpose. We were all standing together, and he didn't hit anyone. He just went straight for Madam." The other maid said, "That person was too fast. We couldn't even react in time. We couldn't even get in front of Madam. And I think that person purposely went straight for Madam's stomach." Ning Shuelua turned to Ning Yaohua in disbelief. Did they do this on purpose? At this moment, the driver's tone was even more certain. It must have been deliberate. If it was a motorcycle thief, they would at least rob the bag, but they didn't rob anything at all. Moreover, his target from the very beginning was the Madam. Otherwise, that person wouldn't have turned around and crashed into Madam when I had already protected Madam. Zhuang Lingyu lay on the bed, crying so hard that she was about to die. "My child. Why? Who is it? Why would they do this to me? Who is so daring that they even dare to touch someone from my Ning clan?" Ning Yaohua was so angry that the veins on his forehead bulged. Zheng Minjun put on an act and said with a face full of righteous indignation, "And this is in broad daylight. She has no respect for the law." Su Yan analyzed. "Based on their description, I'm afraid this isn't just an accident." Su Hongguang looked at Ning Yaohua and asked in a low voice, "Yaohua, did you make enemies with someone recently?" Ning Yaohua thought for a moment and immediately denied it. "Impossible. Everything in the company has been fine recently. Even if there were some conflicts in business, with the Ning Corporation's current scale and the marriage alliance with the Su clan, no one would be so daring as to touch the Ning clan." Chapter 2075. Zheng Minjun looked at the Ning family's mournful expressions, and looked at Zhuang Lingyu, who was lying on the sickbed, crying her heart out. She felt a burst of joy. This Zhuang Lingyu had long been kicked out of the Zhuang family. Normally, she always acted like the daughter of a noble family. She had her eyes on the top of her head, and looked down on everyone. After she got pregnant, she was even more complacent. Of course, the thing that annoyed her the most was the child in Zhuang Lingyu's stomach. The biggest reason she agreed to let Ning Xuelua marry into the family was because Ning Yaohua and Zhuang Lingyu only had one daughter. Now that a son was suddenly born, who knew if the two of them would take back all the shares in Xueluo's hands? The child was still young, so they would not go against him. When the child grew up, how could Ning Yaohua, who was an old fox who missed his son so much, not give the company to his own son? By then, what would the Su family be? Not only would they marry a fake phoenix, they would also lose the right to inherit the company. Wasn't that a waste of money? The Ning family's plan was too good. They were playing them like fools, but the Su family only had to worry about the child in Ning Xuelua's stomach, so they swallowed their anger like idiots. TSK, but now she finally got what she deserved. Zhuang Lingyu didn't know what she had done to deserve this. She didn't expect her child to be lost. Zheng Minjun thought to herself, but she didn't show it on her face. She sighed and said with a sad and worried expression, "Lingyu, did you accidentally offend someone in your daily life?" Before Zhuang Lingyu could speak, Ning Xuelua immediately said with certainty, "Mother has always been kind and has a good relationship with people in the circle. She has been living in seclusion to take care of the baby. How could she have offended anyone? Even if there was a small conflict, it would not be to the point of hiring a killer to hurt someone." At this point, the faces of everyone in the room turned ugly and they fell silent. Ning Xuelua's face was full of tears. She was sad and desperate as if she had lost her child. That person clearly wanted to hurt the child in mother's stomach. Who is so evil? He knew that mother was pregnant, but he did not even spare the child. What kind of hatred does he have that he would do such a cruel thing to take revenge? Su Hongguang thought for a moment, then analyzed the situation to Ning Yaohua. If he did it to Xueluo or you, it could be said that it was because of a dispute in the company. But if he did it to Lingyu, and to Lingyu's child at that, it's more likely that he's simply venting his anger for revenge. At this time in the corner, one of the maids suddenly said weakly, "Missy. Actually, I think I've seen that motorcycle somewhere before." "What? Where is it?" At that moment, everyone's gaze fell on the little maid. "I'm not sure. Maybe I saw it wrong." The little maid didn't dare to say anything. Ning Yaohua scolded sternly, "Regardless of whether I'm mistaken or not, tell me where you've seen it." The little maid's voice trembled and she said intermittently, "That's not an ordinary motorcycle. It's a motorcycle. It's specially used for competitions. The family I worked for was very close to Miss Ningxi's residence. At that time, I often saw people riding similar motorcycles in front of Miss Ningxi's door. One of them looked very similar to the one that hit Madam." The moment the little maid's voice fell, Ning Yaohua's face instantly darkened. "Ningxi, you said you saw this motorcycle at Ningxi's place?" Chapter 2076. The moment they heard the name Ningxi, all the people present had different expressions. Su Yan, who had been silent, frowned. "Are you sure it's the same car?" The little maid shrank and shook her head. "Because the car was too fast, I didn't have time to take a closer look, so I can't be sure. I just said I've seen a similar car in Miss Ningxi's place." Before they came to a conclusion, Zhuang Lingyu, who was lying on the sickbed, froze for a few seconds, and suddenly sat up emotionally. "Ningxi. It's her, it's that damn girl. It must be her. Except for her, who else would hate me so much? Hate the child in my belly so much?" Ning Xuelua saw that Zhuang Lingyu had already identified Ning Xi as Ning Xi just because of the maid's casual words. She didn't need others to say anything at all. Ning Xuelua smiled imperceptibly and hurriedly comforted her. "Mom, calm down. It's just the maid's side of the story, and she said she's not sure. I think although my sister has a misunderstanding with us, she won't do such a terrible thing." Since Zhuang Lingyu heard the little maid's words and Ningxi's name, she couldn't listen to anything else. Who else could it be but her? She won't? Hasn't she done more vicious and terrible things? Xueluo, have you forgotten what she did to you? She ruined your career, your reputation, and your company step by step. She forced you to this point. She has already destroyed my first child. And now she is going to destroy my second child as well. I've said it before. She's deliberately going against me. She doesn't want me to have an easy time. She'll only be satisfied if she torments the Ning family until there's no peace. Zhuang Lingyu's emotions became more and more agitated. Her shrill screams echoed in the ward. Ning Yahua's face trembled. At this moment he looked extremely angry. That girl won't have the guts. Zhuang Lingyu sneered. No. She's so capable now. Moreover, she had gotten to know so many people from all walks of life. Was there anything she couldn't do? If she didn't have such guts, would Xue Luo have been framed by her until today? Ning Xueluo's face was filled with disbelief. Her eyes were red as she shook her head. No. No. How could my sister do that? I know she hates me. I always knew it. But if she hated me, she would have targeted me. I can do whatever she wants me to do. But why? Why did she place all her resentment on her mother? Mother, you have done nothing wrong. Moreover, you are her biological mother, and the child in your belly is her biological brother. How could she do such a thing? Ning Xueluo's words seemed to be defending Ning Shi, but her words deepened the suspicion in Zhuang Lingyu and Ning Yahua's hearts. Ning Xueluo stood up while wiping her tears. It's all my fault. If it wasn't for me, my sister wouldn't have gone down the wrong path. It's all my fault. I'm going to make things clear to my sister. Ning Yahua and Zhuang Lingyu panicked when they saw Ning Xueluo rushing out of the room. This child. How could he be so impulsive? She is still pregnant. Su Yan, hurry up and get Xueluo back. Ning Yahua said anxiously. Su Yan nodded and immediately rushed out of the ward. Good night. The update is over. Everyone should be able to see that it's almost over. Don't be anxious. Chapter 2077. Su Yan was one step too late. Ning Xueluo had already gotten into a taxi. The car made a turn and soon disappeared on the busy road. Su Yan cursed under his breath and hurriedly chased after them. Ziling's company building. In the president's office, Han Momo was crying and asking Ning Shi to work overtime. Boss, I beg you. I beg of you. Please arrange for me to work overtime. Saturdays and weekends. Give me a full schedule every night. Ning Shi put down the document in her hand, pinched her eyebrows, and looked at the little girl in front of her, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. It's the first time I've heard such a refreshing and refined request. Han Momo was so anxious that her eyes turned red. Boss, I'm serious. All right, tell me. Why do you want to work overtime? Han Momo didn't speak for a long time. Finally, she cried out with grievance. My parents abuse me at home every day. Ning Shi paused. Torture you? Han Momo suddenly began to complain. Boss, I'm only 24 years old. It had only been 2 years since he graduated from university. The age of a flower. They began to urge me to find a man, despising me for not having a boyfriend. But they were the ones who were so strict with me in the past. My dad almost broke a male classmate's leg when he came to my house to inform me of something. Now, they are all urging me to find a man. Where am I supposed to find one? The most outrageous thing was that the two of them showed off their affection in front of me every day, and then mocked me for being a single dog. There was no way to continue living like this. Boss, my heart is so bitter. Please let me work overtime. I don't want to go back and eat dog food anymore. Han Momo didn't even gasp for breath when she said so much at once. It was really sad to hear it, and tears flowed down. After crying, Han Momo saw Ning Shi staring at her blankly. She had never seen Ning Shi look so lonely. She couldn't help but feel worried. She scratched her head and asked cautiously, Boss, what's wrong with you? Ning Shi came back to her senses and shook her head. Nothing. Listening to Han Momo talking about her interactions with her parents, she suddenly felt a little emotional. At this time, Han Momo's cell phone suddenly rang. When Han Momo saw the caller ID, she suddenly felt as if she was facing a formidable enemy. Looking at Ning Shi's expression, she was about to cry. She hurriedly took the mobile phone aside and began to make the call in a low voice. Mom. No, I really have to work overtime. I'm not lying. I'll be a puppy if I lie to you. I'm not calling you a puppy. I'm talking about myself. All right. Anyway, I really have to work overtime. Ningxi sat at her desk, not in a hurry. She just quietly watched Han Momo make the phone call. Seeing the little girl crying, he chuckled and waved at her, indicating for her to give him the phone. Seeing this, Han Momo hesitated for a moment and handed over the phone. Hello Aunt Han, I'm Momo's boss. Ah. Han's mother, who was still talking about her daughter on the other end of the phone, suddenly stopped talking when she heard Ningxi's voice. She said in a very eager tone, "It's Momo's boss. Hello, hello. Did Momo cause you any trouble? Or did you do something wrong?" "No, Momo works very hard and does a good job. I'm going to promote her so she may have more work during this period," Ningxi said softly. "Ah. It's fine, it's fine. It's time for young people to work hard. It's Momo's honor that you value her. That lass had a carefree personality. Did she often make mistakes? If she makes a mistake, boss, don't hesitate to scold her. Then she will remember." Chapter 2078. Han Momo's face turned red when she overheard her mother's words. "Mom, I didn't. Don't talk nonsense." Ningxi chuckled carelessly. "Momo has a good personality and is pretty. She is very popular in the company." "Oh really?" Mom Han said modestly, but her tone showed that she was very happy. Ningxi chatted with Mom Han for a long time before hanging up. She even made Mom Han give up the idea of urging her to find a boyfriend. Han Momo was so grateful that she even wanted to marry Ningxi. "Brother Shi, you are lucky that you are not a man. Otherwise, the girls in our company would fight every day." Ningxi looked at the little girl's back and shook her head with a smile. When she was in the Tang family, because of the preference for boys over girls, she was basically an invisible person. It was already very fortunate that she was able to survive without being thrown away. After returning to the Ning family, she was finally no longer invisible. However, under all the probing and harsh gazes, she passed her days as if she was treading on thin ice. She seemed to have never experienced what an ordinary family's life was like, and how to get along with her parents. While she was lost in thought, her cell phone suddenly rang. Lu Tingxiao, who had just gone to F country on a business trip in the morning, sent several text messages in a row. "It's getting cold this afternoon. I asked Wanwan to bring you clothes. Remember to wear them. Don't be greedy. I've made the bird's nest for you. Put it in and set it to stew automatically. Remember to eat it. I've read the script for you. It's very suitable for you. You can take it. Do you miss me?" Seeing the last 3 words, Ningxi couldn't help smiling. "Come on, it's only been 5 hours, okay? You should have just gotten off the plane, right?" Ningxi leaned on the table and replied with a smile. "The first second you left, I missed you. The second you left, I missed you. The third second you left, I missed you. The third second you left, I missed you, I missed you. I've missed you 18,000 times." At the moment, there was a noisy discussion in the front hall of Zealing. After a group of employees heard the commotion, they craned their necks to look over. "Miss Ning, I'm sorry. You can't go in without an appointment. Miss Ning, don't go in anymore. Please don't make it difficult for us. Miss Ning. Miss Ning." The receptionist was stopping a woman, and the person being stopped was the boss of history, Ning Shuo. "What's going on? Why is Ning Shueluo in our territory?" "Fuck. Could it be that she still wants to cause trouble? I don't think so. Why would he come alone to cause trouble? What the hell are you doing now? In any case, it's definitely nothing good." Everyone saw that Ning Shueluo seemed to be very emotional at this moment. No matter how the receptionist tried to persuade her, she wouldn't listen and kept repeating, "I have something urgent to discuss with Ningxi. Please let her come out and see me." Seeing that the staff was still not letting her in, Ning Shueluo had already barged in agitatedly. "Sister, don't hide from me. It's time to put an end to things between us. In the past, no matter what you did to me, I could endure it. But this time, you've gone too far. If you have any enmity, come at me. I will accept it all. Why did you attack Mother? Even innocent children are not spared." There was too much information in Ning Shueluo's words. In an instant, almost all the onlookers were stunned. What is Ning Xuelua talking about? She seems to be saying that our boss attacked mother or something. Even the children were not spared? Nonsense. Chapter 2079. Ling's employees knew that Ning Xuelua was pregnant, so they didn't dare to touch her. In the end, she actually let her break into the building. The receptionist was so anxious that she had to call Ning Shi. President Ning, Miss Ning Xuelua suddenly came to see you. She didn't make an appointment. We stopped her, but she was very agitated and kept saying some strange things. Then she barged in when we weren't paying attention. The other end of the phone was silent for a moment, and then Ning Shi's reassuring voice came. What did she say? The receptionist's tone sounded a bit hesitant. After a while she said that the matter between the two of you should come to an end. She also asked you why you attacked her mother. She said that you wouldn't even let an innocent child off. CEO Ning, I'm sorry for letting her speak nonsense in the company. The main reason was that she was pregnant. We were afraid that something would happen, so we didn't dare to stop her. I understand. Let everyone do their own things. Yes, Director Ning. After a moment of chaos, the company temporarily returned to peace. Ning Shi hung up the phone in the office. Ning Xuelua suddenly came to the company to look for her, and she even barged in. This wasn't like her. Lay hands on my mother? They wouldn't even let innocent children off. She had previously received news that Zhuang Lingyu was pregnant. From what Ning Xuelua said, Zhuang Lingyu's child was gone. There was a commotion outside, and the office door was pushed open from the outside. A few security guards stood behind Ning Xuelua awkwardly. Boss Shi, it's fine. You guys can go back. Yes. The security guards breathed a sigh of relief and left. For a moment, there were only two people left in the large office. Ning Xuelua's hair was loose and her makeup was messy. She looked very embarrassed and seemed to be on the verge of breaking down. As soon as she saw Ning Shi, she knelt down in front of her and said, Sister, I beg you. No matter how much you hate me, come at me. Don't hurt others. The corners of Ning Shi's mouth twitched. She deeply felt that the Oscars owed her a little golden statue. No one would doubt that she was a filial daughter with a sincere heart when she saw her mother's miscarriage, and her expression was filled with self-blame, guilt, and pain. All right, there's no one else here. You don't have to show off your acting skills to me. The moment Ning Shi's voice fell, the anger on Ning Xueluo's face immediately faded like the tide, suddenly turning into a strange calmness. She stood up slowly and combed the slightly messy hair on her temples. She smiled lightly and said, CEO Ning, it's really not easy to see you now. Eldest Miss Ning, what can I do for you? Ning Xuelua's face twitched when she heard Ning Shi say Miss Ning in a mocking tone. Hey, of course, I'm here to appreciate how proud Director Ning is now. The gloom in Ning Xuelua's eyes surged like a whirlpool. Ning Shi, you must be very proud now, right? You forced me out of the entertainment industry, and let everyone know that I was born to a country bumpkin. You even made the whole world know that Su Yan wanted to divorce me because of you. Now, even the history that I single-handedly created has been destroyed in your hands. Now my reputation is in tatters, and I've lost all face. I have nothing now. Are you happy and proud? The only thing she had left now was the position of Madame Su. If it wasn't for the child in her belly, she would have been mercilessly abandoned by the Su family. This bitch, she had forced her to this point. Chapter 2080. Ning Shi was surprised to hear this. Is it something to be proud of to crush a bug? You. Ning Xuelua suddenly clenched her fingers. She was so angry that her body began to tremble. But she soon recovered her elegant posture. She smiled casually and said unhurriedly, Ning Shi, I wanted to spare your life. Outside the door, there was a flurry of footsteps, and Su Yan's voice seemed to be heard. Ning Xuelua looked at the glass of water on the tea table out of the corner of her eye and slowly gave Ning Shi a strange sneer. 3 white pills appeared in her palm. The pills fell into the glass of water one by one from Ning Xuelua's palm, and instantly melted and disappeared. Ning Xuelua picked up the glass of water, and then continued to say quietly, You can only blame yourself for walking on the road to death. Then don't blame me. With that, she drank up the water in the glass. But in a moment, Ning Xueluo's face suddenly changed. The glass in her hand fell to the ground, making a cracking sound. Ning Xueluo's mouth overflowed with blood. She covered her stomach and rolled on the ground. Xueluo. Su Yan slammed the door open and rushed in when he heard the commotion. His expression changed drastically when he saw Ning Xueluo lying on the ground and the broken glass next to her. He also saw the blood spreading under her body. She sat at the desk and didn't even frown from beginning to end. Ning Xueluo covered her stomach incredulously and stared at the broken glass on the ground. The water. Sister. You. She slightly raised the corner of her mouth. Before Ning Xueluo could speak, she directly interrupted her. Okay, I know you want to say that I drugged you. It's a pity that I don't have a surveillance camera here, otherwise the evidence will be more conclusive. But this glass is not worth much. You can take it. Hearing Ningxi's obvious sarcasm, Ning Xueluo's body stiffened for a moment, but it quickly turned into a pained expression. Sister. I came to find you today, because I wanted to end things with you. No matter what you want me to do. I just hope that you don't hurt innocent people. Why are you still so stubborn? The child in my stomach is Big Brother Yan's child. The child is innocent. Mother's child is already gone. Isn't that enough? What? Xueluo. Su Yan hurriedly carried the unconscious Ning Xueluo and looked back at Ningxi with a complicated expression. Then he quickly rushed out. Su Yan carried Ning Xueluo all the way through the staff area and the main hall. As expected, it caused another round of surprised discussions. In the office, Ningxi stared at the direction in which Su Yan left. No one knew what she was thinking. Dear Town Flower House. After returning home after work, Ningxi immediately made 2 phone calls. Soon both sides replied. In the first call, Shi Xiao confirmed for her that Zhuang Lingyu's child was indeed gone, and it was deliberately hit by a car. It seemed that the blame was put on her again, but the other party definitely didn't have any evidence. Otherwise, Zhuang Lingyu would have sent her to prison. Ning Xueluo wouldn't have deliberately come to the company to put on such a show, and didn't hesitate to use such an extreme method as killing her own child to frame her. Chapter 2081. The second call was a long-distance call. As she expected, Jason said that after he failed last time, Ning Xueluo never contacted him again. Otherwise, Solomon would definitely contact her if there was any news from Ning Xueluo. However, there was no news from him during this period of time. Ningxi sat on the sofa and thought for a while. She made a third call and asked Tang Lang to help her investigate something. 10 minutes later, Tang Lang called her back. No one in the underworld took Zhuang Lingyu's job. There was no doubt that the murderer who hit Zhuang Lingyu's child must have something to do with Ning Xueluo. As long as she found this person and proved that he was ordered by Ning Xueluo, then everything would be revealed. But now this person seemed to not exist at all. He did not leave any clues. Ning Xueluo did not use her connections with Solomon, nor did she hire someone to kill him. Now everyone knew that Ning Xueluo entered her company. She was fine when she entered, but when she came out, the child was gone. Moreover, Su Yan was there to testify. No wonder Ning Xueluo made such a big fuss this time. She even used such a high profile and such a simple and violent way to frame her. It seemed that she came prepared. If she strangled her to death, she would definitely not be able to get away with the crime this time. Ningxi's fingers slowly tapped on the glass coffee table under her palm, thinking carefully. The next day, Ningxi seemed not to be affected by this matter at all. She was quite interested in a competition with a famous racer in the circle. In the afternoon, she made an appointment with director Martin, the screenwriter, and the special effects artist to talk about the shooting of the second film. When she returned home in the evening, her personal phone rang urgently. TSK. It was faster than she thought. She could not wait. The call was from Grandpa himself. Hello, Grandpa. Xiaoxi. You. Anyway, come to the hospital now. Got it, Grandpa. I'll be there in a minute. Ning Xuelua naturally had to ask Grandpa to make a decision on such a big matter. Not only would she ask Grandpa, but the whole family would also be invited to testify. Ningxi changed her clothes and then drove alone to the First People's Hospital of the capital. Just as she had expected, everyone was present in the spacious ward. The Ning family, the Su family, Grandpa, and even Ning Qiutong had rushed back from abroad. Ning Xuelua's face was pale, and she was lying on the bed in despair. Zhuang Lingyu was sitting on the wheelchair beside the bed, and her face was full of heartache. Ning Yaohua was standing beside her with a gloomy expression, and Su Yan's family was sitting on the sofa opposite them. Everyone's expression was unusually solemn. In addition to these people, there was also a room full of relatives from the Ning family and the Su family who came to visit Ning Xuelua. At this moment, they were all comforting Ning Xuelua. "Xueluo, don't be sad. The old man will definitely help you. Xueluo, you are the eldest daughter-in-law of our Su family. The child in your stomach is the eldest grandson of the Su family. Do you think that our Su family is easy to bully? Exactly. If there's no explanation for this, there's absolutely no end to this." The old man sat by the window with the help of his walking stick, his face full of exhaustion. The Ning family suddenly lost 2 children, and the old man was probably the one who suffered the biggest blow. It was a matter of great importance, and there was a room full of people. Needless to say, these people were probably secretly called by Zhuang Lingyu and Ning Xuelua to testify. Ningxi understood that in this case, even Grandpa could not speak for her. Chapter 2082. When Ningxi appeared at the door of the ward, all the eyes in the room fell on her and stared at her. "Xiaoxi, come here." Only Ning Qiutong looked relaxed and at ease. The moment she saw Ningxi, she greeted her warmly. Seeing Ning Qiutong, Ningxi frowned slightly. She greeted her grandfather, and then walked towards Ning Qiutong. "Aunt." Ning Qiutong looked at her with concern, and was relieved after a while. "Not bad, you've put on some weight. You finally have some flesh on your face." Ning Yaohua was so angry that his face twisted when he saw Ningxi chatting with Ning Qiutong as if nothing had happened. "Bastard! Hurry up and kneel before me." Ning Yaohua looked at her with disgust as if he was looking at trash. Ningxi sneered and said casually, "I kneel to heaven, to earth and to my parents." "Chairman Ning, why do you want me to kneel down?" Ning Yaohua stopped breathing. You inhumane bastard. You're still trying to flatter me now." Some of the Ning family's relatives whispered to each other in disgust. "What is this girl talking about? Isn't he her father? How could she say such disgraceful words? Isn't she afraid of being struck by lightning?" Zhuang Lingyu wanted to pounce on Ningxi and kill her the moment she saw her. She screamed with a ferocious face, "Ningxi, you're such a vicious bastard. You didn't even spare the children. I should have strangled you when I gave birth to you. It's all my fault. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have been greedy for my parents' warmth. I'll give it back to you. I'll give it back to you. Can you give my child back to me? Give my child back to me." Ning Xuelua was crying so hard that she was in a trance. "Xuelua. Xuelua, my poor daughter. It's not your fault. I didn't protect you. I shouldn't have brought this bastard back." Seeing the miserable look of the mother and daughter, the people next to them looked at Ningxi with even more disdain. What a sin. 2 children were killed in one go. She's so beautiful, but she's so vicious. Quiet, all of you. The old man stomped his walking stick hard. The noise in the ward finally quieted down a little. "Xiaoxi, tell me what's going on?" Grandpa Sheng asked in a deep voice. Ning Yaohua said angrily, "Dad, why are you still asking her at this time? She first hired a killer to kill Lingyu's child." Xue Luo impulsively went to expose her. She was so angry that she poisoned Xue Luo's water, wanting to kill Xue Luo's child as well. This bastard probably wanted to kill Xue Luo as well. The doctor had said that it was an extremely strong abortion drug, and had even added 3 times the usual amount. Xue Luo's life was saved because of her luck. She's inhumane. As Ning Yaohua said every word, in the ward, pairs of eyes fell on Ningxi like wolves and tigers. Seeing that Ningxi had become the target of public criticism, Ning Xuelua leaned weakly in Su Yan's arms. She raised the corners of her mouth strangely, looked at Ningxi's eyes unscrupulously, and sneered crazily in her heart. Oh, Ningxi, quibble, explain. A final struggle before death. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.